Hi guys, Ashley from ashcashbudget here. If you are new to this channel, I'm currently following the Dave Ramsey baby steps. I'm on baby step number 3. I just paid off $42,000 of debt, and I'm actually kind of pausing the baby steps right now. We're in storm mode. If you'd like to continue to follow me on my journey, click the little red subscribe button down below. Today, I am doing a collab video with my friends from a YouTube mastermind group on Facebook. I will leave all of their links down below for their videos or their channels. This video was inspired by Penny's Not Perfections video. I'll make sure to link hers down below as well. And we're just going to be discussing with you guys how what is going on in the world right now is affecting each of us personally. We are in a crazy situation that hasn't really happened within our lifetimes, happening to us right now, and it's affecting all of us differently, especially because the people that I am friends with in this group, we all kind of have started based around budgeting and all of that, but we all have greatly different career paths and lifestyles. So this is bound to affect all of us differently. It might be different ways, but I really think that this is impacting many of us, and I'm sure it is impacting many of you. So if you want to discuss this down in the comments below, please feel free to do so. We have to be there for one another. This has been affecting me in many different aspects. First and foremost is my job, my career. And so I'm going to be discussing that with you because, of course, finances and all of that is involved with this. And it sort of affects everything else going on in my life right now. Some of you know what I do, some of you don't. I do have a variable income, which is one of the things about my budgets, is that 1 month I might only make $1,500 for my job, and on my very best months I've made about $3,000, $4,000, which is really, really good for this area. I live in the Southwest in one of the smaller regions, so this actually kind of hit us last. We were one of the last to feel these effects, but I saw what was going on around the world and then around the United States where I live. So I wasn't completely blindsided, but absolutely was at the same time. My job is in entertainment. I work concerts, Broadway shows. I do all of that stuff at arenas and theaters and things like that. We are one of the major labor providers for any big concerts or shows coming through this area. Between the city that I live and a city that is about 45 minutes away, that's actually where a majority of my work is about 45 minutes away from where I actually live. We were kind of hit with it last, but I started seeing these closures happen, and I guess I wasn't totally surprised, but it also completely blindsided all of us. And it has been a very difficult thing to work with. Now, I know in the last week, my gosh, everything has been changing within it's only been like a week. And so many other places, so many other careers and jobs have been affected by this. People from restaurants and bars, people in the hospitality industry and Airbnb. I know somebody that runs an Airbnb. A bunch of small business owners especially are being affected by this. So it is hitting other industries as well, although I think it hit entertainment as one of the first and foremost, because when it came to social distancing, everybody started to shut down major events first. So that was concerts, festivals, Broadway shows, anything that was holding more than 1,000 people, because the guidelines started that big. They started with that, and then it started to go down to 100 people. Now it's 50 people or even 10 people or less is what they are suggesting for a majority of places. When it hit us, it was about a week ago, and it was a domino effect. Today I'm recording this on Thursday the 19th. When it hit us a week ago, it was Wednesday the 11th when everything started to really hit us. Everything had already started to get canceled in the bigger markets, and it was just kind of coming down to the smaller markets. And I mean, Broadway shut down. Broadway in New York is closed until probably mid-April right now. And I do know a couple people that are out there that work on Broadway, and I can't even fathom what that situation is like. When it hit, first I lost a show that we were starting on the 12th. It was supposed to be on the 13th. We lost that show, and then it was just a domino effect. The next show and the next show and the next show. March was supposed to be one of my best months in a while. We had slow period because of the winter, and it was starting to pick back up the first week of March. I was crazy busy. I was supposed to be crazy busy with the shows that were happening on the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and then everything started to get canceled. There was a show we already set up, so my last day of work was officially the 15th of March because we did have to pack that up. But all of the stuff in between there and since then has been canceled or postponed. At the moment, it'll be at least 3 weeks of work that I am out of. One of the biggest players in concerts, Live Nation, they canceled all of their stuff till April, and then they will be reevaluating. And from word of mouth, what I've been hearing around the block is it might go on much longer. But right now, definitively, I've heard from the theaters that I work at, we're done till April. Everywhere else that I've been checking in with, the other venues that we have, done till April. The uncertainty is, I think, what is extra scary because right now it's April. But what's to say that they're not going to continue it on and on and on until what is happening in the world is cleared up and we can start opening back up to the public and having mass gatherings again. I was supposed to actually go enjoy a concert for once at the very end of March, travel up to Denver. I talked about it in my debt-free payoff, my final payoff video that I did live with you all. I was planning on going to Denver. I had this whole trip planned. Luckily, I was able to get my money back from Airbnb for that trip, but that event was postponed as well. Holding on to the ticket, really hoping that everything works out and I can go to that when they reschedule. Fun is the least of my concern, I guess, right now. At least I was able to get the money back to use towards some necessities. Some people are able to work from home, which is fantastic, and I'm so glad that people have that opportunity to work from home and still make money. Right now, I'm not making any money. Now, my side hustles, let's talk about that a little bit. I do Instacart, DoorDash, and Postmates, and that is something that I absolutely can fall back on. And right now, I think they are pretty busy. It's just they're building in no contact orders and things like that, which is absolutely crazy, mind-blowing, the changes that have had to been made. On one hand, it's a little hard to do, say, the Instacart because people are ordering things that are severely out of stock right now. If you've been to a grocery store recently, you know what I'm talking about. But also, one of the ways this is affecting me, while I'm scared about the uncertainty and about having a job to go back to and when that will pick back up, I'm also scared about getting sick. I don't know how many people of you have noticed. Probably the people that have watched most of my videos will notice there's a lot of times where I am sick and I talk about, sorry, I'm late, I've been sick. I get sick really easy. I do have immune system problems. It's not as bad as some other people who have even worse immune systems, but I do have a compromised immune system, so it is hard for me. And I get sick really easily, and I get sick for a long time, and I feel the effects a lot. So I am kind of worried about that. So I have taken social distancing to what the ideal situation would be, which would be everybody staying home. I did have to go pick up my mom when she locked her keys inside of the car, but outside of that, I did go hiking, but you know, I'm still social distancing, making sure I don't get too close to anybody, and I'm just making absolutely sure for the sake of my health and for other people's health, because we have to flatten this curve so that health professionals can take care of the extremely sick. I am staying inside as much as possible. I went shopping on this last Saturday, so almost a week ago, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to get anything in the future or not. I'm trying to debate what the course of action is for that, especially with everything else closing down and hours shortening up, even for grocery stores, which are essential, so they are staying open, but they're shortening their hours. I can say I'm extremely super happy that I am debt free, and I do have a lot of people to bring that up to me, especially coworkers, and I really feel for the people that are not in the same position as me. But that is brought up a lot. At least you're debt free. Yes, at least I am debt free. I'm so glad. But even if I had debt, even if I still had that last student loan left, my minimum payment was $30. It doesn't make a huge difference, except that I'm not putting all my extra money towards debt currently. But in this situation, I would have stopped doing that anyways, because we are in storm mode. So I am in baby step 3, where I'm supposed to be saving up my full emergency fund. But I just started this baby step, so all I have is my baby emergency fund, which Dave Ramsey recommends as $1,000. I did save up $1,500. So I do have $1,500 in there. I did bring my January fund down a little bit back in February to pay off the last of my debt, but I do still have about $750 in there as well. So add that together. March was already planned. It was already taken care of. I did have to adjust the budget a little bit due to lost income. Most of the lost income from March, though, would be going to the April budget because it would be paid in April. April was actually going to be a 3-paycheck month. So March was mostly already figured out. So what I did, a lot of that money was going to go towards my Denver trip. Now that that trip is not happening and I am in storm mode, that money is being reallocated. So whatever I have extra at the end of March will roll forward or be put into the January or emergency fund and roll towards April. Because as it is right now, I am either severely going to be cut for April, or I might just not have any income for April. So what I did was I went into my Every Dollar budget app, because that is what I use. I do use the Dave Ramsey Every Dollar app. I don't use the Plus where it takes the info from your bank account. I just use the free version. I went into there, I went into April, I zeroed out all income, and I went down to my bare essentials. So that is what I highly suggest for you all, and this is what I absolutely had to do because I might not have anything coming in. Now, if I deem it safe enough, I might pick up on Instacart, Postmates, or DoorDash, or if I see that events are going to keep being canceled further into April, I might just have to go ahead and go find a job at maybe a grocery store. So that might be an option. I am going to give it at least a couple weeks of self-isolation to see what happens in the world and see what my next steps are going to be. I'm planning on no income for April, going based off of that so I can figure out what my bare minimum budget is going to be. Because this is how it's affecting me. I have to figure out what I have to do in order to survive. My bare minimums come out to about $1,500. So that emergency fund of $1,500 would cover 1 month right now. If I was done with baby step 3, I would have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up, which for me, I've always decided I was going to go heavy and have 6 months saved up. But for now, I have that $1,500 baby emergency fund. That'll cover me for 1 month. And then with the January fund and what I have extra from March, that should cover a second month. So actually, even though I'm completely stressed, which is another thing, my mental health is not doing so well right now. I have started to see a therapist, but the current therapy appointment that I had has gotten postponed. I don't know if it's related to all this, but all of this has kind of extra sent my anxiety and depression into overload. So I'm trying to deal with that as I self-isolate, which is hard to do when you're stuck in a house trying to keep yourself sane and entertained. But I thought I would bring that up as well because that is impacting me as well, and that's another way that this whole situation is affecting me. But I will say that even though I'm completely stressed, I do know I could cover up to 2 months of absolutely no income. Now, I do have a tattoo planned in Denver at the very beginning of May, and I'm not sure how that is supposed to play out with all of this. If maybe I can postpone it if I still don't have work, or if we are still on some travel restrictions, I might have to move that completely. I don't know how that's going to play in with my budget, but I know outside of that I have planned that I have 2 months that I can get by paying absolutely minimum, storm mode, just the minimum bills and necessities that I need. The 4 walls that Dave suggests, you know, your housing, you got to have a roof over your head, your utilities, you got to have transportation, and you have to have food, which I do have plenty of food. One of the first things I did, my last day of work was the 15th, which was Sunday. 14th, when I did not have any work because work was canceled, I went to 6 different stores to stock up. Now, thank goodness for my sale shopping. I always try to have a stock of some foods kind of rotating in and out. Sometimes I run a little low on things and then I'll stock back up. So I did have a good stock of stuff. But when this happened, I decided to take out my cash envelopes early because I actually got paid today, so I would have taken them out today. I took out my cash envelopes early and I went shopping to all these places to stock up, especially because things were already getting crazy, and I've heard that the stores have been even crazier since I have been there last. I went and I stocked up, and I try to make sure to have at least 2 to 3 weeks of food. I probably have at least a month worth of food. I don't know about meat, if I have enough meats for 1 full month, but I think with everything else I can scrounge things together. Another thing that this has been affecting is, you know, I've been seeing somebody new, especially with the state of everything. He has been coming by here and everything right now. So I just thought I would throw that out there. This is still relatively new, so I'm not talking much about it. That's a little bit more private. But the food in my house is basically for 2 people right now. But he did pitch in some money for that when I went ahead and talked to him about this need of having to go out and stock up on food because I was planning on self-isolating. I'm sure there's a lot more that I want to talk about, and I've rambled on long enough to you guys. It's kind of, this video is more just like catch up. Let me tell you what's been happening in my life ever since this kind of hit all of us. And I really want to hear from you guys and how this is affecting you. I think we all have to take care of each other in a time like this. But that also means social distancing. So I think YouTube is going to be very important in the upcoming weeks so that we can all connect to one another. Because what else do we have right now but to connect to each other? I'm definitely trying to use this time well. I would like to make more videos, but it is also hard to do with the stress and the mental stuff going on. I would like to also take this as an opportunity to maybe finally go through the stuff in my studio and see what supplies are still useful and maybe make some art. I got 3 sisters' birthdays in April, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford gifts, so maybe I should start on making them something right now. We'll see. I know I still have at least a couple weeks off of work, still at least 2 more weeks till we get into April, but it's really all uncertain right now. And that is, I think, the scariest part. Yes, I don't want to get sick, and that's hard to talk about because I know it's not always believable. The uncertainty is what is really kind of terrifying, as how long is this going to last? How long do I need to be prepared for? Do I need to find another job, which I would, no matter what, go back to my regular job once events start picking back up again. I did end up having a not so pleasant argument with somebody about this topic because yes, this is my career path. So while it is unfortunate how hard it is hitting us right now, it is hitting other industries as well. So I know I'm not the only one. And this is my career path. So no matter what, I will try to go back to it. And I don't think that it has died for the long term. Because I know in times like this, people long for entertainment. And once there is an all clear to open things back up, we will be coming back. And I will have work again. It's just in the meantime, what's going to happen. I hope to talk to you guys. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're staying sane if you're stuck in the house with your family, self-isolating. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye.